as we just hit the 1 hour mark.
Just bring it.
1 hour. So, Nick, do you have a memory or what?
I'm gonna go with, like I said before, the gobbledygooker match. It was just hilarious. With Mean Gene standing there, it was hilarious. I loved that.
You really thought that was funny?
It was hilarious.
I thought it was literally the dumbest thing ever.
What?
Like the birth of the gobbledygooker. We for
a
month. We sat there and looked at this stupid egg on Superstars of Wrestling, waiting to find out what was going to happen, and then all of a sudden it hatched, and we got this idiot dressed up in a turkey costume.
And you know what? Maybe, it probably was stupid, but it's just one of those things that I'll never forget from my childhood watching that. It was hilarious.
Roddy Piper apparently loved it.
Yeah.
He was going nuts. He was like, oh my God, look how cute that thing is. And BG was like, are you kidding me with this? Like, really? Like, how would a straight face... No, I don't even know. How would a straight face can you even... Like broadcast that?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's it. All, like, if you go to any list of, like, top 10 whatever fails, top 10 worst gimmicks, top 10 worst wrestling idea, that is on there every single time. Along with the Shockmaster.
Oh, man.
The Shockmaster.
And the Yeti.
The Yeti, yep.
Oh, WCW, they've had a lot of great ideas.
Oh, man. How about,
like David Arquette as champion.
Worst effing idea ever.
Dude, I loved it.
It was, you know what it was? It was, I guess you can say it's like wrestling taboo.
It was a marketing play. He was coming out with Ready to Rumble and everything.
Yeah, it was a marketing ploy, but when they told him, if you watch the Monday Night Wars thing, they interviewed him. When they told him, he was like, DDP told him, we're putting a belt on you tonight. What? He's like, no, don't do that. They're going to kill me. I won't even get out of the arena.
But
who did he beat again?
The ratings went through the roof.
They did go through the roof because people wanted to see like where they were going to go with this, and WWE followed suit. Though that was like right around the same time Vince McMahon won the title.
Yeah.
Who did David Arquette beat?
Was it Nash? No. Sting?
Wait, let's see. All right. Who did?
I can do this.
Was it Hogan?
It might have been.
Who?
It might have been Hogan.
Might have been Hogan. Let's see.
Because that was right around the same time that you had DDP and Jay Leno taking on Rodman and Hogan.
Pulling this up right now. David Arquette wins the WCW World Heavyweight title.
Oh my God! I mean, can you?
Unbelievable.
His professional wrestling career. Yeah. Let's see. Afterwards, he formed an alliance with Chris Ken. Well, guess what? Let's see. Arquette pinned Bischoff?
Yes.
Bischoff.
I've actually got the video right here.
Arquette pinned Bischoff.
Oh.
And receiving the WCW World Championship in the process. And he actually, which was kind of sick, he defended the title and defeated Tank Abbott.
Unbelievable.
What?
who was actually built up to be a beast in WCW.
Yeah, well, that didn't work.
Wow, I totally didn't even realize that. Who vacated the title then if he beat Bischoff? Because Bischoff was never the champ.
Don't really remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, because I know Bischoff was never the champ.
It was a simultaneous pin where David Arquette pinned Eric Bischoff and Jeff Jarrett had pinned Diamond Dallas Page. And the referee awarded David Arquette the title.
Nice.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
You gotta
love it.
Yeah.
No, you don't have to love it, and I don't.
You have no choice.
The crowd went absolutely crazy, man.
Yeah, it was.
And that's what you strive for in wrestling. If you don't get any reaction from the crowd, you're dead fish in the water. I mean,
one of the worst booking decisions in wrestling history.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
I don't care if the crowd popped or not. It was one of the worst booking decisions ever. Just like the finger poke of doom and all that jazz.
Yeah, DDP had the title. And
gotcha.
The next day, DDP beat Jeff Jarrett on the 24th of May, 2000. And then the next day, David Arquette pinned Bischoff, and Jarrett was pinned by DDP simultaneously, he said, but they awarded it to Arquette. And then Arquette lost the title 2 weeks later to Jeff Jarrett.
Okay.
So, but he did have one title defense and defeated Tank Abbott with the help of DDP.
Oh boy.
that's
Tank Abbott, David Arquette, Eric Bischoff, all in a wrestling ring. My mind is like melting.
No, that's poop.
Is it poop?
Yeah.
He's reading there was a link on Facebook that Roman Reigns' attack on Triple H wasn't scripted and they're gonna kick him out of WWE.
Oh my God! Can people
I don't know if it was
up?
necessarily the attack on Triple H.
Yeah, it's gotta.
Can people just?
You gotta love
enough,
social media.
Enough with the dirt sheet stuff.
It's not even a dirt sheet. It's like I love when you read some of these articles and the English is so bad. It's just like, who wrote this? A sixth grader? I'm like, I really expect people to like really take you seriously and just I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, I can't take this seriously at all.
I told you that.
At all. Especially if they're going to tell you that it's not scripted and he was just unhappy with his storyline, and, then you see pictures next day of Triple H in London taking pictures of NXT, but they're playing it off as an injury.
Yeah, that was probably something that they, maybe shouldn't have done. Maybe they should have made him look like he was hurt a little bit,
Yeah.
But for all we know, under his suit, he could have had taped up ribs. We don't.
Maybe.
We don't know that.
Could have had body armor.
K-Fab is real.
We don't know what Triple H was feeling that day when he was waving to the crowd. Did any of you able to catch the interview with Stone Cold and Shawn Michaels?
I did not, actually.
Sadly, I did not.
Yeah, I would check that out. They kind of break down the whole screw job, the Montreal screw job, and
good.
How Shawn Michaels wanted to take the heat for it, and McMahon wouldn't let him, and Michaels was upset because nobody's going to believe that Vince had that Shawn had nothing to do with the decision.
Well, what I heard, the problem was that Brett dropped the title to Shawn, and Shawn absolutely refused to drop the title to him, which is why he went through that whole "I lost my smile" thing, and
it had nothing to do with the screw job, though.
It had nothing to do with the screw job, but I mean, it did though, because Shawn
Michaels. The screw job was they wanted Hart to drop the title.
Yes,
in Montreal.
They were afraid he was going to jump to WCW with the title,
and he didn't want to do it that night
because he was at his hometown.
Exactly.
But McMahon was worried about him leaving for WCW with the title around his waist, like Medusa did. So that's why they were going to take the title from him. So Shawn Michaels' idea was, he's not going to stay down for a pin. I can't hold him down. So I'm going to get him in his own move, and you guys have to ring the bell immediately so I can beat him with his own move. That's the only believable thing. That was Shawn Michaels' idea. He went to McMahon with the idea. McMahon said fine, but McMahon said, I'll take the heat for it. Shawn was like, there's no way anybody's going to believe that's true.
Until he actually came out during the event.
Well, he did come out later on and said, well, no, I'm talking about Brett. Shawn was concerned that Brett was, if McMahon said, it was my fault, I made the decision, Brett wasn't going to believe that. He was going to say Shawn had something to do with that idea.
Right.
Yeah.
Which he did, and he wanted Brett to know that he had part in that. but Vince didn't want any of the heat on Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
So later on, it came out, bygones be bygones, and as wrestling families always happen, they always get back together somehow, some way later on. But that was really what happened. Is that Shawn Michaels came up with the idea. McMahon said, "Run with it." He wasn't going to be able to pin him and hold him down to make it look believable, so he had to get him in a submission move, and the only move he said that would probably be believable was beat him with his own move.
Mm-hmm.
How believable was it after the match when you clearly seen, Bret Hart writing out WCW?
Yeah, we also spit in Vince's face.
McMahon's face.
Well, that's what McMahon's major fear was, is that that Bret was very angry with the situation of how the WWE was going. He didn't like the direction it was going. He didn't like that they were leaning towards Stone Cold Steve Austin. He also didn't like the whole Attitude Era TNA stuff that was going on. He was a Golden Era guy. So when he got hurt and then he came back and this was going on, it was kind of culture shock for him. So when WCW was kind of waving money in his face, come our way, this is what we're going to do, McMahon was worried that Bret was going to leave with the title. And basically do the same thing that Medusa did, take the women's title and throw it in a garbage pail on Monday Night Nitro and officially started the Monday Night Wars.
Do you think Bret would have left with the title?
You never know. He never admitted or denied whether he would do it or not do it.
What do you think?
I personally don't think he would have.
I don't think he would have done it either, because I think he's very respectful to his business. But you don't know what his thought process would be if McMahon pushed him and kept pushing him and kept pushing him.
Yeah.
So they had a very rocky relationship to begin with. Yeah. So I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I don't, because originally it was supposed to be disqualification, that match. Bret Hart was supposed to win the match via disqualification, and he was supposed to.
That's what they had planned out.
And he was supposed to drop it on Raw the next day.
On Raw, yep.
Okay.
But McMahon was petrified that he was going to leave and not show up for Raw and go right to WCW. So, who knows? Who knows what would have happened? I mean, you're not going to know. Unless you go, you got a time machine, you can go back and, stop Shawn Michaels from walking down that hallway to the office of Vince McMahon with that idea. Who knows what would have happened?
Well, you go back and you just hit the mute button on Tony Schiavone. Well, I mean, that's off topic. I mean, when you talk about...
you're talking about when he announced that Mick Foley...
He said Mick Foley was going to win the title. That totally put them out of business, bro.
That didn't totally put them out of business. I mean, that was a very stupid thing to do, but Eric Bischoff told him to do it. Eric Bischoff pushed the envelope because Raw was mostly recorded.
Yes, it was.
So they were telling the results of Raw on Nitro before they were happening on Raw.
Pissing me off.
And they were pissing everybody off. But the ratings were skyrocketing for Nitro because why are we going to turn to Raw? We can watch Nitro. They're telling us what's going to happen on Raw, so why are we going to flip back?
Right.
So the only time WWE's would catch up in the ratings is when Raw was live and Nitro was recorded.
Plus, you also had Raw from 8 to 10, and you had Nitro from 8 to 11. So, I mean, after 10 o'clock, everyone was flipping the channel anyway.
Yeah, but there was nothing worth watching. Everybody knew it. If you saw interviews with Undertaker and Stone Cold and Shawn Michaels, they thought WWE was going under. They thought they were out of business.
Yep.
They thought their jobs were done. WCW was running. I mean, they were running.
They were. They had everything. They had the cruiserweight division going.
But
nuts.
They made some really stupid decisions.
And also the guaranteed contracts didn't help either.
Well, yeah, but the dumb decisions at the push came to shove was the David Arquette putting him as champion, RoboCop, the Yeti, the Shockmaster. The finger poke of death.
My God.
I mean, it was just some really. I mean, the NWO becoming 75 guys. I mean, it was just
the NWO Red, the NWO Silver,
and then you had the LWO and the BWO, and it got ridiculous. And
it's true. But that was a sight to see.
It was like, oh, you got ties to WWE? Yeah, NWO.
Well, wasn't that a sight to see, though? I mean, you had 80 wrestlers in the ring. I mean, all
But
black
it was
and
it
white.
was just.